All right, here we go. See, bodybuilding. This is Shooting the Breeze, and I have my guest right here.
What's up?
Can you hear me loud here? Can you hear me?
Yeah. So,
Oh, all right, good. Because I got a new mic and a new setup, so I just want to know.
it's kind of like a little bit.
Let me see if I fix that a little bit. Where are we? Settings, audio. How about this one? If I go here, is that better? Does that work? Can you hear me?
Yeah, it's okay.
It's all right. You can hear me loud and clear.
It's okay. It's all right.
Ah, fuck, man. This.
Are you playing with the settings, or what are you doing?
Yeah, I got a brand new mic, and it's the first time I'm using it live. So
it's doing some like reverb stuff and stuff like that.
Oh, Jesus Christ! This again. How about check? Looks like it's working all right. How about that?
It's still kind of echoing.
Fuck, man. All right. You know what? What if I just do this? Tell me it's better.
Just start talking. Just keep talking, and then.
Can you hear me clear now?
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right. Is it double talking or whatever?
It sounds like you're like in the bathroom taking a shit, like talking.
All right. As long as you can hear. All right. Let's try one more time.
I could hear you. It just sounds like you're in the bathroom. Like,
let me try one more time, and if that doesn't work, it is what it is. Okay. Let's try this one. All right. How's that? Does that sound any better or same shit?
That's good. That's good right now.
Oh, all right. Okay, we got it. All right. So
for now,
you know what's funny, Armon, is that I got you to come on before this whole Dave Palumbo happened last night, right? I'm driving to work because I was out cold by the time you guys were on last night. So I'm driving to work. I'm listening to it while I'm on work, and I'm like, oh shit, look at this. Armon's coming on tonight, and this is fucking shit show.
There's a lot of issues with the mic, John. There's a lot of issues going on
with me.
Yeah.
All right, let's just go back. Okay, let's just go back, and I can do it taking a shit. Fine, I'll figure it out another day.
Yeah.
All right. How about that?
Okay.
Echoing,
but before it was cutting in and out, and I couldn't hear you.
All right. So, but you can hear me clear now, right?
Yeah, I can hear you clear.
We'll keep it like this, then. That's fine. No big deal. And I think, actually, I don't know. Let me check to see if he messaged me back. Not yet. All right, whatever. So I watched everything last night. This morning, and then finished it when I was on my way back from work today, because I worked from 7 to 7 today. So on the way back home, I was listening to the rest of it, and I listened to 3/4 of the whole thing. So I just want to give you the stage, and you let me know what you took away from everything. I did listen to pretty much, like I said, almost the whole thing, but I want to give you the chance to say what you took away from last night with you, Patrick, Chris Aceto, Dave Palumbo on RX Muscle.
Well, King Kamali and myself did 2 days prior did a video on it. Okay, so I don't want to go through the whole thing again, but
yeah.
Me and King Kamali did on my channel. We did a video of about the situation, and King Kamali already had it. Patrick got mad at King Kamali because he said he would be a good fit for Classic, and Patrick went off on him, and just because he said that, it was a long time ago, whatever, several years ago. So King Kamali, you know how King Kamali is. I don't want to deal with that. So,
right.
We spoke about it already, and I had the owner contacted me. I don't know the owner of the gym. I'm not friends with him, and
how did they only get your number? Or
he messaged me. IG. He messaged me IG.
Okay.
So he sent me all these texts. He sent me the videos, which they didn't play last night. We played on our channel of Patrick, talking to the police and all that kind of stuff. And I'm not like trying to start gossip or trouble. I liked Patrick. We like backstage 2 years ago at the Heart of Texas. It's a show my friend, one of my best friends, it's his show he's had for just had the 30th anniversary for his show.
Mhm.
But backstage was fine. We had exchanged numbers because we were talking about maybe possibly working with each other for his prep. And then before when I was telling the story last night, Chris Aceto was just like already just like before I could even say anything because he's Patrick. Patrick is his client.
Mm.
So I get that, whatever. But you don't even know this. And then Chris is like, I don't even want to be a part of it. And so, I don't know what really else there is to say, but I still stand where I stand because the gym owner contacted me. He said, Patrick said the gym owner called the cops. The gym owner still swears that Patrick called the cops, regardless.
So it's turned into a blame game now.
Yeah. Regardless, I'm not. I didn't even know the gym owner. And Chris was like, it's your friends, buddies with him. I'm like, bro, I don't even know who. I still don't know the name, who his name is.
Yeah.
I just know his Instagram name, and I don't even remember his gym name.
Okay.
And I was tired last night. Dave texted me like 20 minutes before the thing. I was watching the Chiefs game because one of my best friends put 50K on it. The game, like
yeah.
50K, and I was like, man. I was talking to him the day before. I was like, man, I might throw like 5K in there, but I didn't. But I should have. And so I was like falling asleep watching the Chiefs game. I was tired. And Dave texted me. He's like, hey, do you want to come on Heavy Muscle Radio or whatever they call it now? And I was like, man, I'm tired. But yeah, sure, I'll come on. And so it was me, Dave, Chris, and then Pat started texting Chris, when we were on. And then Patrick, came on and rambled on for a while about the whole situation. And then we got into like, the snitching part and, telling the cops that someone's selling gear out of their gym. And then I got a lot of hate today or yesterday, last night and today, because people was like, you're just bad mouthing Patrick. I'm like, listen, I've never had anything against Patrick, and I'm not taking sides. I didn't even know this gym owner, but I got a lot of hate from it. And then I kind of lost a little respect for Aceto because, he wouldn't even listen to anything. He was just like, he's my client, and like, I don't want to hear this. I don't want to, so, it is what it is. But he owed the gym owner money. Carla Filippone just sent me a nice DM, a voicemail, actually. I just listened to it. Like, Carl's a Chicken Pound guy.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah.
Yeah, he sent me a long DM message voicemail saying like, man, I watched that show. Like you just sat back and kind of just, because I was just tired because me and King Kamali already did a whole show on this subject. So I just sat back and I was already over it. But
let me give you my takeaway.
Go ahead.
And then you could give me your opinion on why takeaway. It didn't look like what Patrick and the gym owner said was much different, except that Patrick put a whole word salad for 20 minutes around it. But when you really got down to it, Patrick owed him money. The guy made the decision, instead of going the legal way and calling the cops and telling him he's trespassing and he's not supposed to be here till he pays me, decided he wanted to take it to the street. Patrick pretty much got the better of him in the street, right? And then one guy says, cops are called. The other guy said the other cops called, and Patrick snitched, which he had fully admitted. He said, if you're going to call the cops and call the cops on me, then I'm taking you down with me. He fully admitted it. So it really does. The only real difference that I took away from it was that somebody called the cops and they're blaming each other. Each other called the cops. Yeah. That was really the only difference. The first 20 minutes of Patrick talking, it seemed like it was just a big word salad, talking about clients and the membership fee and this fee and that fee. But if that he had a contract with the membership fee, but there's no contract with the gym rent, you know. So to me, it's like, all right, I get all that, but if you agreed to pay the guy $300 a month and you owed him $900, all the other stuff that you paid has something to do with that agreement, right? Whether you pay, whether you pay gym membership or you don't pay gym membership, if you have a side deal with the gym owner saying you got to pay me $300 a month to train your clients here, you still owe them that money. Now, problem I had, the gym owner took it to the street. This is not 1970 anymore. There's no reason to do that. If I was a gym owner, I would have told them, you can't come back until you pay me the money. And if you come back, I'm going to call the cops for trespass.
Yeah, I agreed. I would have done the same thing.
I would have been the same. I don't know why the guy took it to the street. So now it goes into, once you go into the street, somebody called the cops. Patrick says the owner did. The owner says Patrick did. So we really don't know who called the cops, right?
Right.
It could have been somebody in the gym. We really don't know because they kind of blame each other.
Right. And I'm reporting. I don't have sides. People's like, oh, you're trying to smear Patrick. I'm like, dude, I liked Patrick. I liked him. Like, I had nothing against Patrick.
I get the same thing. You're on a bigger scale than I am. You're a lot more well known than I am. But when emotions get in the way. If you're a Patrick Moore fan, then you want to see him win, right? That's just the way it goes. So when you're a Patrick Moore fan, it's very difficult to people to just put that aside and look at it with like just critical thinking skills. They look at it emotionally. You're attacking the guy that I am a fan of, and this way and so you're the bad guy, right? Man, I did a show on it too. I did a video on it too, with the information that I got from other people I spoke to and information that I got from social media. I'm going to put content out. I'm not going to wait. I'm not going to wait till I have everybody's story.
With Dave, though, I sent Dave the two videos of him snitching to the cops, and Dave didn't play those audio videos. I wish he did, because because the day before, a few days prior, when me and King Kamali did it, I put the text messages out there between the gym owner and Patrick. I put the two videos. I put the fight video. I put the two videos of him talking to the police, saying I can have DEA friends run up in here, and all this stuff. That wasn't played last night. So a lot of people got a false narrative, and I got attacked because of that. And I'm not trying to start trouble here, and I'm not on either one's side. Like I said, if anything, I was a Patrick Moore fan. If anything, because I knew him. I didn't know. I don't know this gym owner. If I saw his face, I still don't even know what he looks like, because on his profile there's like 3 pictures. I don't even know him. And he was kind of like
reached out to anybody else. Like, I wonder if he reached out to Nick Strength and Power or Dave or any other big, bodybuilding YouTube channels.
Well, I did a short video on IG before, and then he reached out to me, and so no, he didn't reach out to Dave, and then I don't know who else had the videos of him talking to the police and snitching. I didn't see anybody else have that, but the owner sent them to me. And so my whole deal was, we're all bodybuilders. We've all bodybuilded. We've all done gear. We've all taken gear. We've all sold gear. If it's a bottle or if it's 1,000 bottles, we've sold,
Right.
Yeah. And so just telling the police, no matter what, the cops are called, okay, you got in a fight. You think you're going to get in trouble or something, but to say, hey, this guy's selling gear, that's what I had a problem with.
Right. See, I'm completely emotionless. I'm just going to tell you what the information that I know. And here's the thing. It's not like Patrick didn't say he didn't snitch. He said it. He said, I didn't see the video or the audio of him actually talking to the cops, but he did say that the cop said that the door's locked. I don't know. I can't seem to talk to this guy. And he said that's because he's probably doing some shady shit or something like that.
Yeah.
And that's what he sold. To me, that's you're basically saying he's got some illegal stuff going on inside that he's trying to cover up. Right. But I don't none of this makes me dislike Patrick or dislike the gym owner. I'm just talking about the gossip that's going on in bodybuilding.
Right. That's all I did. I did, but I will be honest. I didn't like the fact he was telling the police that this guy is running a steroid operation or whatever. That was like a body. It to me and everybody that's messaged me. I've got a lot of personal messages, and they're like, "Man, that's like a bodybuilding bro code thing to snitch on somebody."
Well, it's anybody's code. You don't snitch.
Yeah.
But he said he snitched. It's not like he didn't say it, And
I mean, the videos were out there, so he couldn't not say it. That's the thing,
right? So he's justifying why he snitched, but the bottom line is he snitched. And I don't. Yeah, some people might have a problem with that. Okay, I'm not saying I have a problem with it. I don't have a problem with it. I'm just saying you did it and you admitted it. So yeah. So
and then
I'm saying the information that both guys put out are pretty similar, with the exception of who called the police and who didn't call the police. That's really
it should have never happened. It should have never happened.
It really should have. The gym owner must be a donkey. I don't know the guy, but he, that was the wrong way to take care of business. You don't want to be the businessman that people are gonna have to talk about. Oh, he's gonna lure you into a street.
No.
What I mean?
And I think, and I do think he thought like, hey man, if I knock Patrick Moore out, Patrick Moore used to be a pro boxer. Yeah. He's a big ass bodybuilder, and that guy was like, man, I would get some clout. I know he was probably.
Oh, you think he was clout chasing? Yeah, it could be.
Well, yeah. I mean, I think he's like in his mid-20s.
Oh, so, is he young?
Yeah, I think he's a young guy. So
I didn't know he was
so young. If he knocks out Patrick and all that, and Patrick is 6 weeks out from the Arnold, that's the last thing you should be doing is fighting.
Yeah, right.
I mean, I got in a fight when I was 5 weeks out from the North Americans one year. It was and I was at Stroud's gym. It's a hardcore gym here in the DFW area. This guy that used to be an acquaintance of mine, he was at my house and he was working on my computer, and we were doing a trade outs for supplements. And then he was messed up that day. He was on a bunch of drugs or something. He kept cussing at my parents' house because it was their computer I was trying to get fixed. And I said, hey, bro, you got to stop cussing at my parents' house. Like that's not cool. He kept doing it. So I say, hey, man, like meet me at the gym and I'll see you in 30 minutes. The gym was closed. And so I didn't know that. So he thought I sent him to the gym, a closed gym, to be an asshole. And I didn't. So I start getting these crazy messages from him. And I'm like 27 at the time. And he's like, F you, I know where your dad's business is. I'm going to take out your knees. I'm going to ruin your bodybuilding career. I know where your dad's business is. So I was like, listen, dude, when I see you, tell me these exact same words. Just stop texting me. But when you see me, you tell me these words. And, and then he kept texting me. So I blocked him on that. He started texting me from other numbers. And he's done this before to other people. And the guy is not a small guy. It's just, whatever. It's about 200, 205 or something like that. But I saw the guy finally at Stroud's gym. It was about 8 months later.
Oh my
I'm
God.
like, oh, shit. And I'm like,
man, I think it'll be over by now.
Right. And so, yeah. And I was like, dude, I'm going to be the better man. So at Stroud's, there's like this back area where everybody used to do their injections and all that. And I was helping somebody pose back there. So I walked back there. He's back there. He's like, oh, look what the cat drug in. And I'm like, I said, don't talk to me.
Yeah.
And then as he's leaving the gym, he's like, I forgot what he said. He said like something nasty to me. And I said, dude, that's not okay to threaten someone's family. He goes, I'll do every one of those threats.
Oh.
And bro, I snapped. So we went outside, square up. I hit him. I just like real fast jab. It knocks him out of his shoes. He's out like that. And then everybody's like screaming because they thought I was gonna keep hurting him, but he's already knocked out.
Right.
And so that was a fight like I got in, but that's the last thing you want to do. I'm like, okay, is my hand okay? Because I don't want to break my hand.
If you're that close to a show, you are really irritable. Like you got a short fuse.
But you're brittle too. And I didn't have a short temper, but he's been threatening my family for literally like 8 months. And then he threatened, and then in person, when you can squash it, because I didn't talk shit back. I just said, just tell me that when you see me in person. I see him 8 months later and you tell me that. It's just like, man, I couldn't let it go. You're threatening my family. You can threaten me all you want to, but if you threaten my dad, because my dad had a restaurant, family restaurant, if you start doing stuff like that, and my dad had his tires slashed and stuff like that, it was probably him. Yeah, I'm sure it was him. And yeah, I mean, so but before your fight, I mean, before a show, you're brittle too. You don't want to get a fight. You don't want to tear your bicep or your chest, and the whole situation should have never happened. And that's that. But on the show last night, I just sat there afterwards and didn't say anything. It's just because I mean, like I said, me and King Kamali already did a video, and I was just tired of it, and I was just over it, and I was just like,
well, I took it as you were giving Patrick his turn to tell the story. I mean, that's how I took it.
Yeah, I did. I gave him his turn, and then Chris Aceto was just like, being very biased towards Patrick. If that wasn't his client, it would have been a different story. And then Patrick texted me after the interview, after the thing. He's like, "Hey, do you have the audio to those videos?" Because I guess he didn't know there was audio from him talking to the police. He thought there was just like the visual. Yeah. So I said yes, and I sent him those, and he said just a fist bump. I was like, okay.
Yeah. At the end of the day, I really don't think these guys. At the end of the day, I really don't think these guys really get riled up at what we do when we talk about the gossip and so on and so forth. As a matter of fact, I think, but first of all, you can't. Okay, you can't get riled up. But I don't think Patrick. This is the first time you've ever seen him in kind of like some kind of drama after all these years of bodybuilding. You've never really seen him. I've heard things in the past that, he's been like a little bit not so nice to guys backstage, or they had some stress backstage. I've heard things like that. I've had one guy basically, another bodybuilder said that he's a prick. He was a prick to me or something like that. But I don't know Patrick, and Patrick doesn't seem to like to be in the drama or in the public eye. So at the end of the day, I really don't think he really was that bothered by what you did. And even when he was talking,
he was.
Oh, really?
Because after the video, he started texting me. He's like, "You don't know the story." This is before Dave's. He's like, "You don't know the story," and we went back and forth on text. I said, "Patrick, would you like to come on with me and King Kamali and give your side?" He's like, "No, go, homie. Do what you do." I'm like, "Okay, you don't want to come on." I said, "Dude, come on and give your story side." And he's like, "No, I'll just go on. I'll eventually go on Generation Iron since they're a bigger platform, and I'll give their story." I said, "Okay." So
that's it. Like at the end of the day, by next week, but nobody's going to be talking about this anymore. It's going to be something else going on. The Arnold Classic is going to be the only thing that I would be a little bit afraid of is if the judges are going to be a little biased because of Patrick's because of this fight. If the IFBB is going to be a little biased, that'd be the only thing I'd be really worried about. But I honestly don't even think this is going to go past anything else. I think the gym owner's not going to get his money. Patrick's going to go to another gym. No charges are going to be pressed, and that's going to be it. Hopefully. See, I didn't know the gym owner was 20-something years old. I didn't.
That's what I heard. I still don't even know if that's the truth because I texted him after the thing and I was like, "Dude, like Patrick's saying that you call the police." He goes, "I'm done with that clown and I'm done with all this business." So I was like, "That's cool. I understand." I was just reporting. People thought I had a biased thing and I didn't. I just didn't like the whole snitching thing. That's all.
Yeah, right. Okay, so this guy, Nick Cap Crypto, asks if you would do anything different.
Yeah, if I was a gym owner, I would have.
He meant if you did anything different with your the IG and the King Kamali video and whatnot.
Would I've done anything different? I'm trying to think about what we talked about. I mean, I just stated the facts I stated what the gym owner sent me, and then I played the videos of the snitching part.
Yeah,
I don't think what could I else done differently?
Listen, I did I did a video on it, and no, I wouldn't have done anything different. I reported on the information that I knew. Now, if there was new information that came out and I turned out to be wrong, I would have done a new video saying, "Hey, look, I was wrong. Here's the new information."
Right. And Pat said when Pat told me, he's like, when the real info comes out, you can do a retraction video. I said, bro, I have no problem with doing that.
Yeah,
but
right.
Nothing really came out. I mean, and then Chris Aceto's trying to say, oh, you're just trying to start drama. I wasn't. Like I said, Chris kept referring to your buddy at the gym. Like, Chris, he's not my buddy.
Yeah, I don't know.
I had to tell Chris 5 times at the beginning of the situation because he wasn't listening.
Yeah.
And I'm like, he's not my buddy. I don't even know who the dude is. He messaged me. Me and King Kamali did a story on it, and that was it. I make a lot of videos, so other than that, I don't. Whatever else I said about Patrick, I said, I think I said, yeah, he lives in Houston. I live in Dallas. He's been, kicked out of like 4 gyms already for the same thing, not paying rent. And then I had a bunch of people message me that were not fans of Patrick, saying, personal, like really personal bad details about him, and I did not talk about that.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Same thing with me. I mean, I don't have the context that you have, but I had something very similar where people were telling me, bad things about it. But I'm not going to say exactly what bad things were or who said it, because personally, I have no idea. I don't know Patrick. Right. And this is how I take it. Until I get to know somebody personal, right? Somebody could say, oh, Armon Adibi's a dick, he's a this, he's a that, don't trust that guy, blah, blah, blah. But you might have had a falling out with that person for some reason, and it has nothing to do with me. And then you and I get along, and I got no problem with you. So that's how I look at the more thing. People could say bad things, but until I get to know him personally, which I probably won't ever, right? Because we're not even close on the same radar or anything. I don't have any problem. I was never a huge I'm like emotionally like in the middle of Patrick. I was never a huge Patrick Moore fan as a bodybuilder. I mean, he's a good bodybuilder, don't get me wrong. But I never had any like real personal ties to him or anything like that. So as far as I'm concerned,
one thing I could have differently is, I said Patrick called the police because I asked the owner, dude, I'm going to do a video. Did Patrick really call the police? He said yes. And so I'm saying, hey, dude, I'm doing a video. This is my name on the line. Don't make me look stupid. But then Patrick said he called the police. And then so if I would have gone back, I would have said, I'm not sure who called the police. Right. The police came for the fight. And then that's the only thing I would have changed probably.
Okay. See, what's funny is I did that. I said somebody called the police because the police showed up on my video. But yeah, Jeff, so according to what we know, we don't know who called the police. You said, remember, the gym owner called the cops, not the other way around. The gym owner says that Patrick called the police. Patrick says the gym owner called the police. So we really don't know who called the police, Right. But other than that, this thing is just the gym owner dealt with this terribly.
Yeah, he did.
I agree. I really think that this was the first time he was in like a really business stressful situation, and he just didn't know how to deal with it. I mean, honestly, okay, so let's say it's true that Patrick was mouthing off to the girl behind the counter, right? Let's say it's true. Why let that get to you? Like that shouldn't get to you. Okay, so he still owes you $900. He's not paying you the $900, or he's only going to give you a portion of $900, and you're not cool with that. Well, then you tell him that he can't come back until he pays, and if he comes back, I'm calling the police for trespassing until you pay. And I wouldn't even care what the girl said.
The only thing I was confused about is when Patrick said, say, hey, I heard you were talking about me at the gym, and he says, like, why don't you come to the gym and we can run this back? But then the guy goes, but I have my kids in the car. So I know when someone says, hey, street talk, when run this back, I understand those are kind of fighting words.
That must be like a Texas thing. Or where's Patrick from?
I have no clue, but he lives here. But then afterwards,
I never
Patrick
heard that. I never heard that before. We could run this back.
run it back, run it back. But afterwards, Patrick last night didn't mention the gym owner also said, I have my kids in the car. Why do you want to be fighting in front of your kids? Like, if I have my kids in the car, I'm not going to go get in a fight. Like, that's weird.
Yeah,
that's not cool.
It just seemed like the gym owner really handled it bad.
I'm not going to fight anyways at this age. I'm not going to go fight someone.
There's no way I'm fighting. There's no way. You got to be ready in mind. I'm 48 years old.
No, I don't want to get arrested or shot. It's Texas. I'm not going to get arrested or shot.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. Or get a bad rep. I'm not 25 years old anymore, 20 years old, where, or fighting when you're a teenager. That's different. You grow up, you mature. These guys shouldn't have ever fought in a story.
Yeah, no, exactly. Or if you don't want to be very assertive as the gym owner and say, until you pay me money, you say, pay me a little at a time. When you're done paying me, then you can come back to the gym. You could, figure something out. It doesn't have to go to blows in the street, because that's
this. Yeah, the no cap said. I think probably someone else called the cops. If I were to guess, I don't think either one called. I think someone probably from the gym called.
Yeah, I would think so too. Because it's just, you just don't call the cops after you get into a fight. Do you know what I mean?
Because the gym owner, bro, like supposedly he runs a lot of gear out of there. If I'm running a lot of gear out of the gym, I'm not going to call the police. So that's why I don't believe he called the police.
Right.
And that's why I was told Patrick called the police. But if Patrick says he didn't, all we can go by is maybe someone else called the police.
Yeah, who would have fucked? Right. At this point, it's a complete.
Who knows?
Complete shit show. I don't know, man. I just hope this doesn't affect his placing in the Arnold.
I don't think it will.
No.
If anything, John, used to how the Arnold was, because I spoke about Amanda Savell before, the girl that got murdered by David Jacobs, and he committed suicide. I helped her one year. She got third at the Arnold, I figure. And the next year, she didn't get an invite because she was dating the David Jacobs guy, and he got busted he was a big time dealer in Dallas. And he sold to Dallas Cowboys, Atlanta Falcons, Dallas Police Department, and he ratted on everybody. And he went on news channels and ratted on everybody. So I'm like, this dude's going to have a hit out on him. Right. You know how the ball players are, these NFL guys. They're still kind of hood. They'll just
and they're young, like they have that mentality.
They're hood. I mean, my massage therapist, he used to work for the Cowboys, and now he works for the MLS and the Dallas Stars. He goes, bro, working for the Dallas Cowboys, they were so disrespectful. The players were the biggest dicks. They were just, a lot of them come from the hood. He said it was horrible working for them. But
what is this? What does this mean? Aceto almost killed Sandow. What is that supposed to mean?
So Luke Sandow,
he offed himself. He didn't.
Yeah, but the Washington Post, if people don't remember, they contacted me, but I didn't give them the information they wanted. I didn't want to talk about it. It was about Chad Nichols, the guy that preps a lot of girls, that he killed a bunch of girls.
I don't know about
Shelby Starnes,
right,
and Chris Aceto. So under Chris Aceto, several of his athletes passed away.
Really?
And so they wanted me to talk about those three names, and I said the only one I know of and I can talk about is Shelby Starnes, because I've gotten some of his clients, and he had them doing like crazy diuretic protocols. And I have got some of Chris Aceto's clients, and he had them do pretty crazy diuretic protocols, either that I don't agree with at all. That is very dangerous.
Really? Because I was always under the impression that Aceto is very conservative when it comes to
gear.
Yeah.
Gear, but diuretic use is different. So back in the day, like when I first got started bodybuilding, diuretic use was very different. So people would start diuretics like 30 days out. They would use aldactone, and then they would get closer. Then they would use like Lasix and diazide. And so Chris would do that with a lot of his athletes. And I'm only speaking this truth because I got the clients, And I'm like, what happened at the end? You look good. And they're like, well, Chris gave me 8 diazides the day of the show. And I'm like, 8 diazides? I'm like, and so that's the deal with Chris. And he's got the rep that he's, his clients have passed, several of his clients have passed away.
Wow. And honestly, this is the first time I'm hearing that about Chris.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy. I mean, I hope, there's something else to say about that, because again, I'm going to get my emotions in the way. I'm a huge Aceto fan. As far as trainers go, I'm a huge Aceto fan. But it says here, just Google dying to compete elite trader to read the article. Wow.
Yeah, the article's still out there. It's the Washington Post article. It has in there. I don't even remember exactly what it says, but several other people came out and talked about Chad Nichols, Shelby Starnes, and Chris Aceto. I told him I would talk about Matt Jensen because that's who I had issue with, because he was kind of a newer coach. Like when I was coaching, he came kind of out of the blue. And, Dallas McCarver, that was his best friend that he literally killed, telling him what to do, and that he had other athletes under him. And I've got a couple Jensen clients too, and they were on the brink of death, and one had kidney failure and had to get a transplant. Wow. So I said, but they didn't want to hear about Matt Jensen. They only wanted to hear about those 3 names that they had already. So,
I've heard things about Chad Nichols. I've heard things about Shelby Starnes. I've heard the worst about Shelby Starnes. Again, I'm just going on hearsay. I don't know this for fact. This is just what people have said to me in the past. But it's a dangerous game, man. It really is, and you could blame the coaches. But one of the stories that I've heard about Chad Nichols is that Chad used to give Ronnie Coleman this list of shit to take, and Ronnie used to just like ignore it with all the craziness.
Well, yeah, that's what I told you. He would come to the gym, and Ronnie showed the guy that used to prep me at the beginning. He's like, "Man, can you check this out? I feel like Chad's trying to kill me." And the guy Herman was like, "Are you taking all this?" Ronnie's like, "Hell no, I'm only taking half this." So also, a lot of people, with Chad, they weren't taking everything he had them taking. Dominic Cardone, when I talked to him, when Chad turned him pro at the Nationals, he's like, "Bro, I felt like I was like on the brink of death. Chad had me doing so much shit. He directed me to death. On stage, I felt like I was going to die." And then after that, he retired. I don't think he even competed again after that.
Yeah, I don't know what he's doing now. I think he's training people.
Just coaching people, yeah.
Coaching people. He did have a channel with Nick Trigilli before Nick had Bodybuilding and BS.
Yeah, I did a podcast with him for 3 hours, and Nick forgot to do the audio the whole time. And so we talked about all that on there. And then Nick called me like a few days later. He's like, "Dude, you're going to be mad at me." I was like, "What's up?" He goes, "I forgot to do the audio." I'm like, "Oh my, are you serious?" I was like, it was a good podcast. And we talked for 3 hours. This was like 3 or 4 years ago.
Yeah, this was before Bodybuilding and BS. I mean, because I used to listen to Nick and Cardone and whatnot.
Yeah.
They were pretty good. Cardone grew up not far from where I grew up in Brooklyn.
But the whole Aceto thing is like, I'm not like saying this about Chris. This is what was in the article about Chris. I mean, the whole article was about, diuretic use and, his, or what I already said.
That sucks, man. When people say, don't ever meet your heroes, you're going to be disappointed. Because I'm always like a big Aceto fan.
And I've always liked Chris. Like, we've been at shows together. We've done wrap-ups together. We've talked together. Last night rubbed me the wrong way that he wouldn't even listen to the story because Patrick was his client. Yeah. And Chris was just kind of attacking me and then kind of making me look like the bad guy. But I'm like, "Chris, you got to listen to the story at least." And, he didn't want to do that.
If I was Chris, I would be like, I don't get into this drama stuff, man.
And then he posted something on his Instagram this morning, was like, "Patrick knocks out Armon," because, like he knocked out the gym owner, now he knocks out Armon. Because last night I was just done talking about it. I was like, I'm done talking about it. Chris Aceto's, running his mouth. Dave said what he said. I'm just done talking about it. And, I don't care if I'm made out to be the bad guy. I could care less because
Dude, if you do what we do, right?
Yeah.
You and I are kind of like, you have a bigger platform than I do, and you're more plugged into the bodybuilding scene than I am. But for the most part, you and I do the same shit. We have full-time jobs, and we kind of do this on the side, right?
Yeah.
So you're a trainer, and you have the supplement line, and so on and so forth. So we kind of do the same thing. And inevitably, if you decide to do this, you're gonna rub people the wrong way. It's inevitable. It's gonna happen. You're gonna get people that shit on you because they don't like your opinion. It is what it is, and you honestly just have to just.
Bro, it don't bother me. I mean, we had the message boards back in the day where they used to do all that, and when people come out and troll, especially RX Muscle gets the most trolls, and it's it's the same people. It doesn't bother me. They're like, I used to have respect for you, Armon. Now you're just jealous of Patrick. I was like, I have nothing to be jealous of Patrick about. I was like, I could pay the gym $900 if I needed to. So I was just like, don't like.
I was also thinking of this. Tell me what you think about this. To compete at the Arnold Classic is very expensive, and I don't know Patrick's funds or whatnot. And I'm sure Chris Aceto is not a cheap trainer. I'm not going to
go into all the personal stuff about Patrick, but because I shouldn't do that, and I won't do that. Yeah, but I know all whatever people message me a lot of.
You don't have to. All I'm saying is it might be a possibility that he's strapped for cash right now, and he's trying to dance, and I'll give you some money here, and I'll give you some money there, and because prepping for the Arnold, and I don't know if he has a family or if he has a wife or kids or whatever. And then, like I said, Aceto ain't cheap. Aceto's not cheap. He's probably a little strapped for cash, and that's fine. We've all been there. We've all been there, dude. We've all been there where you're trying to pay this one, you borrow from Peter to pay Paul, and you're doing what you got to do to get through to the next one. Maybe it's me. Maybe I'm just trying to like find justification of what happened between them. Because,
but it's like it was like 3 months he owed the dude money, and it's like that's enough time. So I think he didn't have the money. And what I try to tell people about bodybuilding now, I'm like, these guys don't have money unless you're like the top 5. These other guys they're struggling. I mean,
every single one of the guys that are on my Muscle Talk, all the guys you met, have full-time jobs.
Yeah, if you just try to be a bodybuilder and not work, like actually have I know Patrick trains people, but if you're not, I'm sure he don't have a full day because he's prepping for the Arnold,
right.
Or some bodybuilders are just lazy, bro. Like, I've prepped so many people and I've used so many preps for free. It's like, hey, just get me after the show, and then they don't pay you. And like me and Kamali were talking about, like I love bodybuilders and I grew up bodybuilding myself, but I'm not friends with a lot of bodybuilders because there's so much drama, and I don't want to go hang out with a group of people and talk about bodybuilding. That's like kind of work to me. And I do this channels and stuff because it's fun. But if I want to go, all my friends are just pretty much normal people. I'm not part of the whole, like I live 15 minutes away from Destination Dallas. People are moving to Dallas to train at that gym.
Really?
And I used to train at the old Destination Dallas full time, and I literally prepped and most all the coaches there and trainers, and I turned numerous of them pro. And I got like in return, some didn't pay me, others were like I prepped myself, and I got shit on. So I just got away from that whole crowd and everything. I was sponsored by Gasp and all that. I didn't renew my contract because there's just so much negative drama and all that, and so I don't even go to that gym at all. So
yeah. Your pro card's about $300 a year. I think that's what it is. I think that's the fee to maintain your pro card once you get it, $300 a year.
Yeah.
For the question asked by Jason Dakin. Yeah, man, and it's got to be frustrating when you're trying to do something that you love, like bodybuilding, and at the same time you got bills to pay and you got things to look. Again, at the same time, I have to say that this is all speculation. I'm just speculating that it's a possibility that the guy was strapped for cash, and we've all been there. I might be dead ass wrong. I don't know. But
he is. That's why he didn't pay. He is. I mean, but that's why I don't work with a lot of bodybuilders anymore, prepping them at a high level because they don't have the money, man. They don't have the money. And I'm not gonna and I'm not gonna do. I've done it with so many people where I was like, I have a big heart and I care a lot about people. I want to see them do well, and I've turned a lot of people pro, especially around the 2009 to 2014. And I would like, hey, just get me after the show. Never paid me back. Never,
Yeah.
It was just that's shitty.
Well, all the guys on my channel. So Dorian Haywood is a chiropractor and personal trainer, right? Luke Mon, what show did he do? I forgot. He recently did a show, or the Legion. He did the Legion. He has 3 jobs. He has 3 different jobs. I think he works. I want to say he works 2 jobs, and the other one is training because he's got kids and he's got a family. And Bo is a trainer. He's also, a trainer, at the gym. The days of being a bodybuilder and just getting paid with huge sponsors is over.
No. Even when I was competing, and I had a Muscle Mag contract, and I had a big Diamatize contract, and then I went to Muscle Tech. So I had 2 contracts. They weren't paying me crazy amount of money. Together, it was about $6,000-7,000 a month. But then I was still working 3 jobs at the time.
Yeah,
I was still working. I was coaching people. I was working my dad's restaurant, and then I was stripping on the weekends. So, I mean, people give me shit about it today, and I'm like, I'm 41 years old. I was like in my early 20s when I was doing this. They think I'm the same person. They're like, you're gay for pay. You strip for men. Yeah, I worked at a gay club, and I made a lot of money. And you would have done the same thing if to get on a box. And you didn't even dance. You just stood up there and flex. You would have done the same thing, but you didn't have the body or looks or whatever to do it. And the gay guys are all about what you look like.
Yeah, well, they're basically men. They just like men.
Yeah. So we're visual, So people hate on me for that. I'm like, listen, all my friends literally worked out there with me, and they, it was easy money, and people still like. That was in my early 20s. Like, of course, I would never do something like that. And I tell the younger people, like, don't do it. That's not right. That's not good morals. And, it is what it is.
If you don't mind me asking, so that was like 20 years ago. So you're probably talking like early 2000s. What kind of money did you make at the gay clubs that you were doing this at?
Oh, dude. So the shifts would be for working at the straight clubs actually felt more gay than the gay clubs, because the straight clubs, you had to go out there in like outfits and firemen and cowboys and all these outfits and actually dance and put on a performance. And these girls all have these $1 bills. And so when my other friends said, dude, go to the gay clubs, I was like, dude, like, okay. So the first night I worked, they have these, boxes you stand up on.
Right.
This little Asian guy came up and touched my quads, and I'm just like this.
Yeah.
And he's like, nice quads. And he's tipping me.
Yeah.
And I look down at 5 $100 bills, and I'm like, wow. So you would work like 4 hours. And the thing is, back then, you got to understand, all the gay guys, they read all the muscle magazines. So when they knew who I was. So I made a lot more than the other dancers. So I would make about $500 to $1,500 a night. And then
back 20 years ago, that's great now.
Yeah, and then what they would do, they would be like, "Hey, do you want to go to dinner with me?" And people call me escort and all that, whatever. If you wanted to go to dinner with me and pay me $500 or $1,000 for literally just having dinner with them, that was it.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe I'm a little bit more. I could probably do the dancing as long as they don't touch my junk.
No, was like,
don't touch my junk and don't touch my nipples. That would bother me. Like, I don't
know. No, it really, dude. They were really respectful, and they were very respectful when I worked there. It was not like it is now at the bars. They're very disrespectful. Things changed a bunch. It was like this. You got to remember, this was before being gay was acceptable. These people had wives. They were coming there. It was secretive. They weren't open. People weren't open at all. As soon as it became like okay and to become out of the closet, that's when all the money went away from all the gay bar scene.
That makes sense.
I wasn't working there anymore at the time, but my friends were, and my friends were like, "Yeah, I did this." I'm like, "You did that?" I'm like, "Bro, don't do that stuff, like sexual stuff for that money. Like, don't do that at all in the first place."
Yeah. But, yeah. I just want to give a quick shout out. Mike Ball says, "Good evening, John and family." Mike Ball has a great podcast. It's called Insane Wheels. He does mostly motorcycle stuff, and he does a lot of world news. He's all over, what's going on in the country and in the world with Trump and so on and so forth. So it's a great podcast if you guys are into that. So go check that out. But yeah, man, I don't like calling it homophobe because I'm not afraid. When you say phobia, it's like you can turn it into a panic attack. It's just that I have this thing, and even if it's a straight guy and he wants to talk to me real close, like, you know what? I'm like, dude, give me some personal space. I don't like that whole shit.
No, I don't either. And
unless you're
when I went out there, yeah, when I started all that, I was never around gay guys, and when I went out there, bro, I was nervous, and then I got used to it and comfortable with them and all that, and then people's always like, "You're gay for pay. You danced at the gay bars. You call yourself a Christian." I'm like, that was 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Those are stories that are entertaining for all the trolls or people out there. People enjoy the stories. It's like, I'm a totally different person that day. I would never do something like that.
Why are you gay? No, Mike, he's not gay. He has children and he has a wife. He's just took advantage of the gay community. That's what he did, the piece of shit.
Yes.
He just
they all knew you. They would ask you, like, they liked that you were straight at that time because it was like a challenge for them. And all the dancers were bodybuilders at that time, and they were all straight. No gay guys worked there. They were all straight.
I don't think I could be gay for pay, though.
No.
Well, let me try to explain. I don't think I could be the pitcher if I had to be gay for pay. I could probably suck it up and be the catcher if I had to, because I really don't have to do anything. I could just kind of bite on a piece of wood and take the pain.
No.
But we'd have to talk about some serious.
You didn't have to do, bro. You didn't have to do any of that. You didn't even have to do that back then because they were just happy meeting their favorite bodybuilder. They were just happy just taking you out to dinner. It wasn't like that back then. Now it's a totally different story.
I wouldn't know of what the gay community is like now or then.
Yeah.
I just never did. I have gay friends now, if you will, in the gym because, like you said, it's acceptable to come out and be gay and nobody gives a shit. Right. I don't know if I had gay friends, but I had like inklings if I had gay friends, but they would never come out of the closet. Like guys that never had a girlfriend, never got married, and people would say, "Oh, maybe he's asexual." I'm like, "Nah, he's not asexual."
Yeah.
You want to hear a funny story? Like, I had a friend who turned out to be gay, right? And he was one of the guys. His name was Anthony. I'm not going to give you his last name, but not that it matters. But it turns out that his best friend was also a good friend of mine. And he tells me, he goes, "Look, Anthony admitted to me that he's gay. We were in our 20s." And I was like, "All right, whatever." He goes, "Just don't break his balls. Don't tease him. We were getting together like to play cards and watch a football game or something like that." And I was like, "Nah, I'm not going to say nothing. Don't worry about it." So that day comes, it goes away. I don't say nothing. I don't break his balls because I'm just not. And then I had to go to a wedding. One of the guys got married. So I had on this like fucking, suit. And I guess I could look like I walked out of the Goodfellas or something, right? Because I had the suit on and everything. And he comes over to me and he's breaking my balls. And he's like, "You look like such a fucking Guido, you Cougine." And I leaned over and I whispered in his ear. I went, "I know about you."
That's funny. I know
and
that's
like dead silence after that. Like it was.
It was funny. It was funny, after I was like, by 25, I'm not going to be working at, doing any of this stuff, whether it's, male entertainment for women or, at the bars anymore, because it bothered me. It bothered me because it's still, even though I wasn't doing sexual things, I'm like, okay, I'm entertaining all this. And so I went through a period like after I left all the gay bar scene and stuff, like I still had a bunch of these guys messaging me constantly. And I flipped out on all of them. And I went like on this rant where like, I'm like, leave me the F alone, like blah, blah, blah. Like, and I heard a lot of their feelings and I felt bad. And a couple years later, I said, hey, you know, I messaged a few of them. I was like, hey, like you were actually a good friend of mine for years. I'm sorry I did that. I was just so tired of, you know, like you feel like a piece of meat. I mean, you really did. It felt gross.
Well, think about what you really had to go through, you know, when all those videos came out. Imagine having to go through that. Oh my God.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't be able to go through that. I don't know, man.
Yeah.
There is nothing about it. What's so funny, Armon, is like there is nothing about a dude that I find attractive.
I know.
Like, you know, and here's the thing. This is how straight I am. You could put the ugliest, fattest girl in front of me. I'll find something attractive about it. I don't care. She could have nice feet, hair, like her elbow, something. Because I'm just like, because in my sick head, I'm justifying immediately. I'm like, would I fuck her? Would I fuck her? Let me look to see if there's anything that I'd want to fuck. Oh, yeah, she's got nice ankles. I mean, anything. But with dudes, like, I've been around guys, and then like the girls are like, oh my God, he's so hot, he's so handsome, and I'm like, he is, really?
Yeah, I don't see. Yeah,
I can't fucking see it. I'm just not. I just can't say it. It is what it is, you know, man.
Well, I mean, people would say, "Oh, Armon's a faggot, Armon's gay, Armon's this," something like that. I'm like, listen, I'm the same way. I have zero attraction to a man, and I would know because I was around a lot of them. Like, I loved women, and I was, I was a womanizer. I had 5, 6 girlfriends at all times, and I had, every time I used to work at the gay bar, I would leave and go to the strip club because they had certain strip clubs. I hang out with strippers and do all that. I mean, girl strippers. And, the same thing. I found nothing attracted about a man. And a lot of the gay guys that was out there, they're like, they couldn't understand that. They're like, "But your friend's good looking. Wouldn't you want to hook up with him?" I'm like, no, because I'm not attracted to a man. I like tits. I like vagina. I like a woman's touch. There's nothing about, even when I would go on like road trips with my guy friends, I would get grossed out just being with another guy so close to them and having to smell their sweat and all that shit. Like, so it's like,
Yeah, it's all. Jamie Gonzalez wants to know: has King said anything about last night's show? Have you spoke to King?
Yeah.
Has he said anything? Or no? You just want, or you don't
basically just back me up in every way.
All right, good. I have to actually message him. I haven't had him on the show in a while. I got to see if I can get him on. I haven't. I spoke to him a little bit after the Olympia that we did together on RX, and then I haven't spoken to him. I gotta message him. I'll message him tomorrow.
Yeah, great.
I appreciate you coming on. Thank you very much, man. You know what? As far as I'm concerned, you're good in my book because you and I kind of hit it off from day one. From the first time I interviewed you, I text me back right away. We always got along. We're always, at this point, you're my friend. That's it.
So, absolutely. We're the same. I mean, like I treat people the way I want to be treated, and if I offend somebody and it's something that I did wrong, I'll apologize. Like this whole interview with Patrick thing, the only thing, like I said, I would have said, I don't know who called the cops because I don't know. But I said, I think I said Patrick did. But other times in my life, I'm not, even when me and Dave had a little quarrel, like it's been like, I don't know, 5 years ago. I said, "Hey, Dave, I'm sorry I said those things on a podcast."
Well, I've done that. I've apologized. And, I've done that. Because here's the thing, like, all right, I don't know. How can I explain it? Did you ever see this is the best summarization. This is the best way I could explain it. Did you ever see the movie Tombstone? Everybody saw the movie Tombstone.
Yeah, of course.
Okay. You remember, like, toward the end of the scene where Kurt Russell.
I haven't watched it in years, but tell what happened.
Kurt Russell is Wyatt Earp. Doc Holliday is played by, I forget his name. I forget the guy's name. And Doc Holliday is he's not in a sheriff. He's just a friend of Wyatt Earp. and they're in a shootout with the villains in the movie, and the guy says, one of the guys that's paid to be a law and is paid to be on Wyatt Earp's team, saying, "Yo, why are you doing this, Doc? You ain't got any skin in the game. Why are you doing this?" And he goes, "Wyatt Earp is my friend." And the guy goes, "I got lots of friends." And Doc Holliday goes, "I don't." And that's exactly how I feel. I don't have a lot of friends. So when I make a friend and if I fucking offend them, I'm like, shit. Like that's
Right.
like it's like it happened to me with Arns, and we stopped talking for a little bit, and then we put it to bed, and I was like, I apologized to him. I was like, so on and so forth, whatever the case may be. I literally messaged him the next day. It's like, dude, whatever I said, I offended you, I'm sorry, whatever. And then I did it with Phil Clayhar. I had, I messaged, Phil was always on my show, and then we had a little bit of a falling out. Really wasn't much of a falling out. And then I messaged him, and I was like, dude, I probably could have handled that situation a lot better. I'm really sorry. And he wrote me back, "Don't worry about it, man. We're cool."
Yeah, I mean, in this industry, it is a lot of gossip. We're not being gossip girls. This is news. Like, this is what everybody wants to hear, and people enjoy it, just like the TMZ of actors or actresses. This is bodybuilding, and a lot of drama goes on behind the scenes that the fans don't know about.
Yeah.
Do we talk about all of it? No. If I spoke about what I knew about people, I would never do stuff like that, what I know about their personal lives and all this. But if I get into it with somebody or this and that or a friend, I'm a man enough to say, "Hey, man, I'm sorry. That was stupid. Move on." That's a part of life. That's gonna happen. You're gonna get in. I don't know that's weird to have a long-term friend for years and have never gotten in an argument. That's weird.
Or you have a stupid argument, you don't talk anymore. Like, we're not women, and just put it away. You know what it is too? I think with blue collar guys, with me too, because you work with guys all the time. And you're like, I'm with guys, constantly. I'm a sewer worker, so it's always knock around guys. You get into arguments, and you have to work with that guy the next day. So by the next day, you're like, forget about it. It's over. We just have to get on with it, and you just kind of move on. And I think it's kind of in our DNA that men have to basically bond to get shit done. So if you argue, you get over it quick. Where women,
guys were like that, and things you can argue about, but there's certain things like in the industry a lot of people do that's really not okay, like stealing other people's clients, bad mouthing other people to try to steal their clients. A lot of people do that, and that's nasty, and that's not something that like, "Hey man, I'm cool with you after that." You'd have to come to me and say, "Hey, I'm sorry, that was messed up, I shouldn't have done that," because we're all trying to make money in this industry. Right. If you're making money in this industry or whatever, we're all trying to make money in it. And you shouldn't go bad-mouthing people and trying to take certain people's clients. That's not okay at all. No, and a lot of people do that. A lot of people do that.
I couldn't agree more, man. It's it's unfortunate. It really is. But listen, I think there's probably more good people than bad. I think the bad people just get the most eyes and the most attention, because the large majority of bodybuilders I've met, you, King, Dave, Lee Priest, Haywood, Phil Clayhar, Arns, Luke, Bo, they're great fucking guys. Great. You know what I mean?
Like Lee says a lot of shit that a lot of people hate on him for. But listen, look at Jay Cutler. Jay Cutler played it so safe his whole career. He would never say anything controversial.
Yeah.
He's just now barely talking about gear and stuff like that. But Jay, well, everybody likes Jay because Jay never gave his real opinion on anything. Yeah. He was just like this.
It was a little bit different. He was Mr. Olympia. He didn't have to. Do you know what I mean? Where this is what we have to do. And Lee's a different creature altogether. Lee don't give two shits. He's going to tell you whether you agree with him or not. He's telling you how it feels right from the hip.
Right.
But when you're like, Ronnie, or when you're, Samson Dowd or Jay Cutler, you're not expected to talk shit. You're expected to go up there and bodybuild and win. And that's what people want to see, so it's a little bit, I can understand Jay Cutler not bad. Plus he's also had plenty of other businesses outside of bodybuilding. He was a builder and a real estate investor, and the guy is a multi-millionaire for bodybuilding. I had him on. I interviewed him. The first half of the interview was, "How'd you make so much money?" I was picking his brain. He basically told me that the money he made from the bodybuilding prizes, he invested in real estate.
Yeah. I mean, I tell bodybuilders all the time, if you're coming up and you're making money and you have to have, like, now, like back in the day, you would have a magazine sponsor and you would have a supplement sponsor. Now the guys have a supplement sponsor, a clothing sponsor, a food prep sponsor. You have to have like literally like 7 or 8 different small sponsors to make a living from it if you want to bodybuild full time. And then I always tell these guys, listen, if you get an injury, that's done. What are you going to fall back on? And a lot of these guys, they get used to just eat, sleep, and train. That's not life. You got to work. And then when it's time to like actually, hey man, you got to go get a job, work in construction or work in a regular 9 to 5, or you don't have a college degree or whatever, you have to work a normal job. They have a very hard time doing that. Oh yeah. And then a lot of them resort to, like Melvin Anthony, like he had to serve like 7 years for selling large amounts of ecstasy. It's sad that bodybuilders work so hard. They should be rewarded so much more, and it's sad that they're not. Yeah, that's a whole other topic. But before we go, Armon, I just want to plug your supplement line. You go to armonadibi.com. It's in the description. You just go and click, and you can get some great supplements. What's the supplement line called again? Well, I've had a DB Army Nutrition for 8 years, and then we just launched our new line, AMG Labs. That website is being developed right now, but you can get the products on armonadibi.com. And, people always ask me, where do you get your supplements? I'm like, it's on my website, guys. Like, just go to my profile, click on armonadibi.com. And the new AMG Labs, I sent you a couple. We've got a couple more products coming out. We've got some pump gummy bears. They taste awesome. But yeah, you can. That site's being built. The branch change you sent me, I love. Yeah, I sent you Intra Drive. So it has EAAs in it. EAAs, creatine, and glutamine, and that's So that I drink that when I'm training. I absolutely love it. It tastes good too. It's not bad at all. The pump products, I'll be honest with you, I do not try. I didn't try the pump products, but the branch chains or the Intra ones, I'm almost out of it. Actually, I got to order another one from you. I'll send you some more. A lot of people, our pump products really strong. A lot of people they don't like to get much of a pump because they say, man, I can't work out for more than 15 minutes because I get such a big pump. So because I try to make everything because I was with these big companies that, watered down their products for years. And when I made my company, I was like, I don't care if I have to spend more money and make less money because I coach full time. So if I don't make, X amount of money with supplements, it's okay. I eventually want to build up. So I have to coach less people and just do my supplements. But we sell a lot of supplements, and we do good for not selling in stores, which I don't want to do. I did it for a little bit, but it's just such a headache, and they want to buy it for really cheap and all that. And that's how it works. No, Jason knows. Yeah, but Jason's full, what do you call it? Full supplement line throughout the country, and I think he even goes through Canada too. I think he has spots in Canada and fully throughout the country. You could get him at pretty much. Any you're not going to get his stuff at GNC or Vitamin Shop, but any pretty much, small chain, hardcore vitamin store, you're going to find his stuff there. And you can always buy his stuff online. He does. He has good stuff. But I'll be honest with you, like I've tried his essential and I've tried yours, and I like both of them, to be honest with you. I had no problem. I don't really, this is what I use. Obviously I use a protein, I use a pre-workout, and I use branch chain and essentials. I don't take his when you sent me that, I didn't really take a lot of essentials or branch chains because I was like, I get enough protein. And then, like, not long ago, I think it was like after you sent me that, I was like, let me break down how much protein I'm getting. And I'm not needing you recover a lot faster when you take something like Intra Drive. You got your EAAs in there. People still call them, BCAAs. We had BCAAs. Now people take EAAs because the BCAAs. Then you got your EAAs with it. Then you got creatine in there, you got glutamine in there, and we put betaine in there too. So we call it an intra workout because you drink it while you're training. So you just recover a lot faster, And it's not like, oh, it's a steroid where you notice, like, oh my gosh, it's something that bodybuilders, a lot of bodybuilders or younger bodybuilders, they just go straight to the gear. They neglect all the good supplements out there that can help them, and they just go straight to the gear. They're like, why spend $50 on this pre-workout or pump product when I could go buy a bottle of testosterone for $50?
Young guys don't have the money either. You know what I mean? And
no.
Now it's like you got to see on top of my refrigerator. On top of my refrigerator is nothing but supplements. I run out of it and I just buy it, right away or whatever the case may be. I remember being a kid and being like scrambling for money. I don't have any money for this shit. I remember asking my parents for money for protein, and my mother, I was typical Italian. My mother was like, "What do you want to drink that shit for? Why don't you just eat real food?" And all that crap. And of course, my mother never cooked right. She always cooked, pasta and stuff like that, right? And yeah, man. What happened was I broke down how much protein I was actually taking in, and I'm like, I'm not taking in what I used to, so I just started using your intro workout, and I do like it, bro. I really do like it. So
yeah, I'll send you some more stuff. Yeah, I haven't been in the gym. It's almost been 2 months because I was not working out much before. Then I had the hair transplant, and I got 10 more days till I go back to the gym. So I've been enjoying myself. I've been on a hamburger, gyro, and ice cream diet for like the last month, and I still weigh 260, but it's like just a softer, smushier 260.
How tall are you that you're weighing 260?
I'm 5'10". I think I lost about a half inch or inch from my spinal injuries. So I used to be 5'10", but I think I'm 5'9" now.
Man, that's big. You're still a fucking big dude. All right, dude. Listen, I really appreciate you coming on, man. All the love and respect in the world for coming on.
Always enjoy
these things together, man.
Always enjoy coming on, brother.
All right, man. I will hit you up. I'll hit you up tomorrow.
Text me what you need, and I'll send you some more stuff out.
Oh, thanks a lot, bro. You got it.